Good afternoon, everyone. Will DuPree here in the KXAN live studio. This morning we were here earlier talking about a student and two others being killed inside a home in San Saba. And now we have a live picture from there. Our investigator Jody Barr and his photographer have made it to that home there on South Bluffton Street in San Saba. He is joining me now with a live update from the scene there. Jody, we see you now here live on our streaming platforms. Tell us what's happening out there right now and what you found out so far.
Well, what we see here now is obviously law enforcement here still processing the scene. The Texas Rangers are leading this investigation here in San Saba. This happened just a few blocks away from downtown. You can see the Rangers are gathered here as an investigator has been going in and out of this home. And you also see neighbors just across the street looking on here, trying to make some sense of what happened here early this morning. This was about 4:30. The Texas Department of Public Safety tells us about 4:30 this morning. Their suspect that they're calling a 22-year-old man began stabbing people in a home here on South Bluffton Street. And when it was all said and done, there's a 62-year-old man, a 44-year-old woman, and a 13-year-old girl, all killed here inside this home from, they believe, a stabbing. But there was also an 18-year-old female survivor. The troopers tell us that she was able to make her way out of this house, run across the street with obvious stab wounds, they tell me, and ask a neighbor to use the telephone to call 911. DPS says once that 911 call was made, they were actually able to locate a suspect, and the suspect was in the victim's car, DPS tells me, and San Saba police were able to find that car. They started chasing that driver, and that chase ended up in Goldwaite over in Mills County. Mills County Sheriff Clint Hammonds tells us that his deputies were involved, because we're in Burnett County right now, so this went over into the next county, in the Mills County, but that sheriff tells us that his deputies got involved in that chase. That chase ended downtown. A source told me this morning that the chase ended right by the courthouse square in downtown Goldwaite, and the sheriff says a person driving that car was Anthony Wayne Pierce. He's a 22-year-old man. He's right now being held on pending felony evading charges, Sheriff Hammond says. So right now, no other charges against this person. The DPS tells me they have not yet, though, named him as a suspect in these killings here, but that they're still working this investigation. And as you can see, it is still going on here. There's Ben, if you could zoom down, the gentleman in the white hair is the Llano County District Attorney, Sonny McAfee. He also prosecutes cases here in Burnett County as well. He just got here. San Saba County. Okay, sorry, San Saba County. He is here, obviously. He's prosecutor, the elected prosecutor in Llano County, but he is here today offering his assistance. The Texas Rangers here, San Saba Police, Police Chief from San Saba is right here in the crime scene along with DPS. So still pretty active. The troopers are in the house right now. You see them in the doorway here. They're still collecting evidence. Again, no one that we know of yet. We've been told, been charged with these murders, but there was a suspect that left here. DPS says got into a car chase in Mills County that ended up in Mills County, and the sheriff there telling us that a 22-year-old man was driving the car that they were chasing, and he eventually crashed downtown, so in Goldwaite. So that's all we know for now. We are obviously, any bit of information that comes along, we will be passing that along. So live in San Saba, for now, Jody Barr, KXAN.
All right, everyone. That is a report from our investigator Jody Barr. He is there at that scene in San Saba. As you can see, people are moving in and about that house responding to this triple homicide. And as Jody just mentioned a few moments ago, we've taken down his shots, so he's going to be able to continue on reporting there from San Saba. He has shared some new details as he was talking to us just a few moments ago. He is saying that now 3 people are dead, including a 13-year-old girl, a 62-year-old man, and a 42-year-old woman. He also mentioned that there was a female survivor who had visible stab wounds that was able to run out of this house that you're seeing some shots of right now and went to a neighbor to call for help. According to the Department of Public Safety, which Jody has spoken to extensively this morning, the suspect has fled from the scene there, took off in one of the victim's cars, which led on a chase from San Saba into Mills County, and that's where it ended. And deputies in Mills County were able to arrest a suspect there and take him into custody for an evading charge. That man has been identified as Anthony Wayne Pierce. He's a 22-year-old man. Authorities have not been able to officially confirm his connection to this particular homicide, but we are obviously working to confirm that particular information. As you heard Jody say just a few moments ago, this all happened, I should say, at about 4:30 this morning, and Jody has reported that this was a stabbing. So it appears that the 3 people who died from stab wounds, which is a terrible way to go for sure. What we also know is that the San Saba Independent School District has provided grief counselors because this 13-year-old victim was a middle school student. So those counselors have been set up in the middle school library. They're providing resources to the students there as they deal with this unbelievable tragedy. And they're going to be providing resources from other school districts have sent counselors to meet with families and with students there as those needs arise. We also have information on our website, KXAN.com, as we've been reporting about this all morning long. We've been updating that story with new details as they've come in, and Jody has provided quite a bit of new information to be able to share with you all, so we do appreciate that he was able to join us and provide that live report there from South Bluffton Street in San Saba. Once again, this is some video and some pictures from that scene as law enforcement has surrounded this area with crime scene tape and many different vehicles there. Jody had shown us a minute ago when he was reporting that the district attorney for that area has now reported to the scene and is going to be gathering some information, obviously. Jody says that he's going to be working to try to get some additional information from the authorities there, as well as people who live near this home and possibly even at the school where crisis counseling has been made available because one of the victims is a 13-year-old 7th grader from San Saba ISD. If you'd like to find out more information, you can just go to our website, KXAN.com, as well as the KXAN News app. We will keep updating that story as more information comes in, and we have quite a bit to share at this time. I just want to reiterate before we take down our stream what new information we've learned. So once again, we heard this morning that 3 people died at a home in San Saba. And now Jody Barr, our investigator, who was there on scene reporting about this, has found out that this was all related to a stabbing, and that the victims in this case, the 3 people who died, include a 62-year-old man, a 42-year-old woman, and a 13-year-old girl. Jody also says that another person has survived after reportedly being stabbed, and that person ran out of the house and was able to call for help from a neighbor. So there was a lot of new information to share with that. There's also been a suspect arrested, though not officially connected with this triple homicide just yet. However, they authorities say that there was a vehicle that left from this area and then was caught in Mills County near Goldthwaite. The chase ended in downtown in that community, and that's resulted in the arrest of Anthony Wayne Pierce, who is a 22-year-old man. He is being charged and being held, rather, I should say, on an evading charge after leading authorities on that chase. So much to go through here, and just a terrible tragedy for sure. And our prayers and thoughts obviously extend to that community and this particular family, which has been so devastated by this tragedy. We hope that you all will stick around. Jody Barr, again, is there in San Saba. He's going to be reporting for our evening newscast at 4:30 and 5, as well as 6. We'll have some information to share at that time. He's got a lot of information to try to go through and potentially witnesses and neighbors to interview as well. So he's jumped off here for now to be able to gather that information. He's going to be reaching out to authorities. They are still a very active scene at that home in San Saba. If you're familiar with that area, it's on South Bluffton Street. San Saba is about 100 miles or so, maybe a little bit more, northwest of Austin. So it's quite a bit of a drive. So our investigator, Jody Barr, got there and started gathering information and was able to provide that live report just a few moments ago. Once again, you can follow along our reporting at KXAN.com and the KXAN News app. We're going to be updating those stories, and you can tune in later tonight on Channel 36 on your television, NBC. Tune in to be able to see those live new details. For now, we're going to take down our live stream. We do appreciate you all joining us here on KXAN Live, and we will, if there's any more information to share, we will be jumping back on to provide that at a later time. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here a little bit later today.